My husband chose phone calls over my safety. I run industrial machinery at a steel plant, 12-hour shifts, blades, saws, conveyor belts, things that will absolutely rip your hand off if you so much as blink at the wrong time. That's why sleep isn't optional for me. It's literally life or death. And yet, for the past month, I haven't gotten more than 3 hours of solid rest a night, all because of my husband. Or more specifically, his nightly calls with his best friend Troy. Troy is a long-haul trucker. He calls my husband every single night between 1 and 4 a.m. You know, when the rest of the world is sleeping. At first, I thought it was an emergency. Maybe Troy was in trouble or lonely. But nope, they're just chatting. Football, diners, bad dispatchers. Like it's happy hour at a bar. I asked my husband nicely the first time. Hey, maybe take the calls in the living room? He said, Troy needs someone to talk to while he drives, or he might fall asleep at the wheel. Okay, I get it. I really do. But I also need sleep or I might lose a thumb. So I compromised. I said, just keep your voice down? He refused. Said Troy already had trouble hearing him as it was. I tried earplugs. Didn't help. Tried the couch. It's a lumpy disaster from his college days that feels like napping on a pile of bricks. I kept my mouth shut. For 2 weeks, I went to work with bloodshot eyes and shaking hands. I started slipping up. Once, I nearly fed my glove into a hydraulic press. My supervisor pulled me aside and asked if I was okay. You look like hell, he said. I was dangerously close to getting written up. So that night, when Troy called at 2:30 like clockwork and my husband started yapping about the Packers, I grabbed my pillow and moved into the guest room. And I slept. For the first time in weeks, I actually slept. But the next morning, my husband looked at me like I'd cheated on him. He said it hurt his feelings that I didn't want to sleep next to him. I explained, again, that I physically can't sleep with an hour-long phone call happening at 2 a.m. He told me it was my problem to figure out. Since then, I've been in the guest room every night. He's been sulking like a child. Silent treatment. Snide remarks. He even told his mom I moved out of the bedroom because I'm dramatic. And now she's calling me to ask what's wrong with me. I thought maybe he'd cool down. Instead, he got worse. Last night, he came into the guest room at midnight and shook me awake. We need to talk about our relationship. I told him we could talk in the morning. He said, no, now. He kept me up until 3 a.m., ranting about how marriage is about compromise and how I'm being selfish. Then, as if to prove some weird point, he answered Troy's call right there in the guest room. I left, grabbed my pillow and went to the couch. My back is still killing me from that nightmare of a sofa. This morning, I was dragging at work again. My supervisor asked if everything's okay at home. I lied, said I was just adjusting to a new routine. When I got home tonight, he was on the phone with Troy again, but this time it was 6 p.m., not 2 a.m. I asked why Troy was calling so early. My husband smirked. He wants to apologize for keeping you awake. Then he handed me the phone. Troy sounded confused and genuinely kind. He said he didn't realize I worked such dangerous shifts, said he could absolutely call during the day, during breaks. I didn't mean to cause any issues, he told me. If I'd known, I would have changed the schedule weeks ago. I was stunned. This whole time, Troy had no idea. He thought the middle of the night calls were fine because my husband never told him otherwise. Then my husband snatched the phone back and said, don't worry about it, man. She's just being dramatic. She gets like that when she's tired. Troy went quiet. Then said, yeah, I gotta go, and hung up. And I just stood there. My husband has known for weeks that I'm running on fumes, that I could seriously injure myself or someone else because I'm exhausted. And he still let those calls happen every night. He chose to keep me up, not because he had to, because he didn't care enough to stop. Troy didn't know, but my husband did. That's when I realized something hard. It's not about the phone calls. It's about basic respect. I told him calmly, you knew, and you didn't care. He shrugged. You're overreacting. I'm not. I'm sleep deprived, in pain, and one mistake away from a disaster at work. I deserve a safe place to sleep. I deserve a partner who doesn't dismiss me to my face. Tonight, I'm packing a bag. I'm going to stay with my sister for a while. I need sleep. I need space. I need to not wake up with a saw blade inches from my hand, wondering if I'm alert enough to make it through the day. Let him take Troy's calls in bed with an empty pillow beside him.